Hello my friends, how are you? I hope you are doing great. Welcome into another YouTube video. So my friends, as usual, in every YouTube video we dive into or I try to share with you what I get from books, the nuggets of wisdom that I get from books and how I apply them into my life. And also we review some vocabularies from my Anki deck. And my friends, this in this session, inshallah, if we have some spare time at the end of it, we're gonna try to incorporate some grammar lessons and exercises. So my friends, without further ado, let's dive into it. So my friends, now I'm going to start a conversation with my teacher in where I'm going to share with him what I have got from this reading session, my friends. And after you're gonna correct the mistake that I will likely commit, because this is natural. I'm an English learner, and my friends, after that I would ask him to provide me with some thought-provoking question that's gonna enable me to practice speaking and to reflect further or deeply on things that I have got from the book Essentialism. So let's do that, my friend. So, my friends, I have just started a new chat with the teacher, and my friends, I'm required or obliged to remove the image of me from the screen, because as I have already told you in previous session that uh, like there is some delay or freezing, because my tablet is not really powerful in terms of like processing both the image recording and also the sound and mic recording. So I will just remove the image before I start the conversation with the teacher. Hello, teacher. How are you? I hope you are doing great. So, teacher, I'm going to start my English session that usually start with sharing with you what I have got from the book Essentialism. And teacher, I would like from you to correct my mistakes and fine tune them. And after, teacher, I share with you all the things that I have got. I would like from you to drop on me some thought-provoking questions that will enable me to practice speaking naturally. Okay, so teacher, the first thing that I've got from today's reading session is the author he had talked about, teacher, he talked about like discerning. It was a chapter that was allocated or dedicated just to discerning. And by the way, teacher, I keep overly using the word dedicated to mean that something it is allocated just for a certain thing. So provide me, teacher, with a synonym for it, then I can resume my counting. Thank you very much, teacher. Now we'll go ahead and continue just from where I have left off. So the author had set aside a chapter for just discerning. And he provide us with one of his life stories that had really explained and much and made it much more easier to understand like how to discern or to distinguish between numerous opportunities that it can be thrown away into our path or in our life. So, what do you think, teacher, about how I have said it's going to be thrown away in our path to mean that we're going to be confronted or faced with a lot of opportunities, and sadly, the majority of people they accept or say yes to these opportunities, and they end up diffusing or channeling their energy into numerous things, and like that, how they found that they are not great at nothing. Okay, so teacher, the author provide us with he provide us teacher with one of his life stories to really elaborate and emphasize the idea of discerning between opportunities and how to know the one that like has the highest contribution on our life. So teacher, like the author, when he was a kid, he wanted to gain some pocket money, and he mentioned that at the time the only way that the only job that he could get was a paper route. I don't know, teacher, that I've used here the correct name, which is paper route, which is people who like provide papers to who like yeah, provide papers to houses. And he mentioned that while he was heading to the school, he was having a very loud bag that was even heavier than him. So it was a very hard labor. I don't know teacher the reviews here. Hard labor to mean a very hard work to do, especially at a young age. So teacher, he mentioned that it wasn't similar the paper route it wasn't similar to America like the way it is done because in America the paper route it involved just throwing the papers into the door porch into the porch of every house. Tell me teacher the reviews here porch the word porch correctly what I mean by it is the front of the door, but in England you have to really put the paper into the letterbox, and that means it will require much more time. So that the author he wasn't making tremendous amount of money from this work. He was just making £1 per 1 hour. So the author stated that whenever he would like to purchase something, he weighed this thing against how many hours he need to work. And tell me, teacher, that I've used here, he weighed these things against how many hours he need to work. That is, and you know, teacher, that is, I think, what makes working at an early age very vital because you start really prioritizing your money and you don't start wasting it mindlessly or unconsciously because you really know the sweat and the hard work that it requires to purchase everything. So you end up just purchasing the vital things that you really need. So, teacher, correct and enhance what I have just shared with you, and then we can move into other parts. Okay, teacher, I'm ready now. Let's move into another thing. So, the author, like, he reflected, or he pondered, or he started thinking deeply about how we can make much more money at the same amount of time. And he had a really great idea, which is to start watching or cleaning his neighbor's cars. So, like, in 1 hour, he started to make, like, in 1 hour, he watched or not he watched he cleaned 3 cars which make him $6. So here teacher like what we can extract from this story because you know teacher my YouTube followers they're gonna think that this story is really useless or it is not in harmony with the idea of discerning. So here teacher what we can extract or the wisdom the nuggets of wisdom that we can extract from this story is that the author like with the same energy that he was channeling to paper route he was able to make he was able to double the amount by cleaning or cleaning his neighbor's cars. That means that I think it means, teacher, that we need to be extremely selective about the opportunities that we accept, because the author, he was working hard on something that wasn't like contributing to him. So this 1 hour, he had channeled it into another things that were much more vital for him and enabled him to gain much more money. So that means, teacher, that we should be selective to accept fewer opportunities that have the highest return and that yield to higher results. And that really, teacher, enable us to refuse refuse all the other opportunities that are less likely to help us to reach our goals. So, teacher, what do you think about this story? And tell me there I have well extracted the lessons from it. Okay, so now, teacher, we're going to move into another concepts or another ideas that will help us to understand the idea of discerning and picking the right opportunities much more crystal clear. And provide me, teacher, with a synonym of crystal clear to mean understanding something clearly and thoroughly. Okay, so, teacher, the author, he brought up another concept, which is the Pareto. And Pareto, teacher, it had been introduced by Pareto in 1780 or something like that. I'm not really sure about the exact year in when this idea was first introduced. And this idea, it encompasses. I don't know, teacher, whether I've used here the word encompasses correctly. That 20% of our effort yield to 80% of results. That means, teacher, that always less but better, which means we need to channel our energy to less things, to the vital things that can lead much more greater and tangible result. Here is how some people who have harnessed and leveraged this idea. But before I share with you the people who had harnessed or leveraged or used this idea wisely into their business or their life, I would like for me to provide me with a synonym for the word leverage or harness to mean using some other things that's going to help us to thrive or to evolve. Okay, so, teacher, here is people how teacher. Please, I would like for me to repeat or provide me with the synonym of the word harness or leverage, because I was really in awe when you provided me with the synonyms. Thank you very much, teacher. I really appreciate your help. Teacher, here is how these people they have used or utilized these strategies to better themselves. Is, for example, teacher, one of the persons who has been mentioned in the book, which was focusing on enhancing the qualities of products by focusing on just the vital things on the product. And teacher, to apply his idea, he found an audience in Japan. And during that time, Japan, it was really known for, it had really a bad reputation for creating low cost, poor quality product. And to help these people and to help the Japan to overcome this problem, he had helped them to focus on enhancing just a small fraction of product and not to try to enhance a lot of product. And here how he had enabled him to enhance dramatically or exponentially their product. And now, teacher, whenever I found something made in Japan, without overthinking or without second mind, I purchase it immediately because I found that these people they were able to focus on just a few things and enhance them rather than trying to focus on a lot of things. And so, what do you think, teacher, about how I have explained the story of this person who was enhancing the quality of product and how we had harnessed or utilized this idea? Thank you very much, teacher. Now we're going to move into other people, which is one of the famous people, which is one of the most famous people or renowned people. Teacher, I have a question for you. Is the word famous and renowned can be used interchangeably? Uh, and then, teacher, if when you answer me, I will share with you the story of this famous people. He was one of the greatest investors in the world. Okay, teacher, the person that sharing its story it is Warren Buffett, and teacher Warren Buffett, it who is a highly known person for investing wisely and perfectly. And teacher, I think the key secret or the key ingredient that enabled Warren Buffett uh, to collect a huge amount of money throughout his life is his ability to invest just on few opportunities that, or he was able to bet on just few opportunities that he was sure that these opportunities it will yield to higher revenue or good financial result. Because teacher, the tremendous amount of money that Warren Buffett was able to get throughout his life, he owned it to just few investments. I think 10 investments, and he was investing just on companies that he was extremely sure and certain that it will help him to succeed and yield good results. So, teacher, I think that the majority of people now, what really unfortunately yield them to fail is that they invest on or they bet on a lot of things that they are unsure that it will succeed. For example, they invest on small startup that they collapse or sink down the line, and that's what lead him to become hopeless and even invest in another startup. So we can use here is how we can use the idea, teacher, or the concept of discerning in our life by focusing on just the vital few, teacher, that's gonna enable us to thrive. For example, instead of clogging or crowding, not crowding, I think crowding, teacher, it is not used here correctly. Instead of clogging or our schedule with things that doesn't align with our goals, and accepting every opportunity or request or invitation, we should really, teachers, get used to say no to them, because we have been able to discern the few things that we need to do throughout our day that's going to yield to the most results. And to really, we need to gradually remove the others that are really useless or purposeless, and it doesn't serve us with anything. And that, teacher, how our day, it will be much more productive and useful for us. So, teacher, before we move or we dive into another concept that I've got from the book, I would like for you to toss me with one thought-provoking question at a time, or we can have an opposing debate or whatever you like, that's gonna enable me to practice speaking based on what I have shared with you so far from the book. Yeah, teacher, if I would like to apply Warren Buffett opportunities into my life, like the few things that I would like to focus on them is firstly to not work out excessively or intensely, because back in the days I was allocating or channeling my energy a lot for working out. And teacher, that wasn't like really useless, but I was channeling a lot, exaggerately a lot of energy into working out. So when I get into learning a skill or acquiring a skill, I feel very dizzy, and I feel very dizzy, exhausted, and I lack focus because I have already worked out very hardly. And teacher, since I have read this book, Essentialism, I will focus just on the essential things, like not working out intensely, and rather to just work out for or run for a few kilometers consistently, or to just like get back into my house through by my bike. And tell me, teacher, whether I should have used through or by my bike here, which is grammatically correct. Another thing, teacher, that I will prioritize is try to acquiring a skill that a valuable skill that will help me to stand out and acquire a job easily. And another thing, teacher, is to focus on being spiritually good and having a firm relation with my God by acting in concurrent with His teaching. So I think this is all the vital things, teacher, that I will focus on them on, that I would prioritize. Yeah, so teacher, let's move into an opposing debate. Then we can move into another thing or nuggets of wisdom that I've extracted from the book. But before we do that, teacher, I would like for you to provide me with another synonym for the word nuggets of wisdom. Yeah, this is really great debate, teacher, that's going to enable me to reflect or ponder much more deeply on what I have extracted from today's reading session. And tell me, teacher, that I've used here the words reflect and ponder to me thinking about something thoroughly, deeply. Yeah, thank you, teacher, for correcting my pronunciation of the word thoroughly. Like it is thoroughly, not thoroughly. Thank you very much, teacher. I wrongly pronounced it thoroughly. It's have been a long time, so fortunately, I've been listening to you attentively, and I've spotted this pronunciation mistake. Okay, teacher, can you please repeat that debate because I really forget about it? And provide me, teacher, forget about it to mean, yeah, forget about it. This is the only word that I have to mean like forgetting about something. Okay, teacher, like the majority of the people, they say that you need to put the X on different buckets. You know, teacher, I partly agree with these things, but not completely. Because, you know, teacher, when we try to channel or diffuse our energy into numerous things or into numerous opportunities that really, or unfortunately, we gain just marginal or small amount, or we make a small amount of progress in just in a lot of in a lot of things. But you know, teacher, I think it would be much more wiser and much more convenient to channel our energy into just one thing, and that it will enable us to make tremendous or huge amount of progress in this one thing that we will be astonished or stoned. I don't know, teacher, the views here the word stoned to be like we're gonna be astonished or amazed by the amount of progress that we're gonna do in one thing. And you know, teacher, through my experiment, I have really noticed that I have been trying to be jack of all trade. I wanted to acquire numerous skill at time and you know to do numerous or to get better at numerous things at the same time, and that had really overwhelmed me. And like when I have like reflected on my journey, I found that I've been really doing or gaining just marginal progress in a lot of things. And you know, teacher, this book had really enabled me to rethink about that and to change this idea of trying to work on numerous opportunities. And you know, teacher, I think it really doesn't make us flexible, but rather it make us brittle. I don't know, teacher, either I've used here the word brittle to mean easier to break because I think you know, teacher, I will provide you with an example that make or strengthen that channeling our energy to one thing. It is much more better to channeling or diffusing our energy into minor things because we stretch ourselves into numerous things. Because, for example, teacher, if we take a bodybuilder and an arm wrestler, like a bodybuilder, he focus on working out different part of his body, but an arm wrestler he focuses just on his biceps, triceps, and his you know, teacher, what we call the other part of in our hand that enable us to have a strong grip. So teacher, like even though a bodybuilder must be stronger, but an arm wrestler, if they played arm wrestling, it is inevitable or sure that the arm wrestler he gonna beat or he gonna beat a bodybuilder because he was focusing on just one thing. He was channeling or focusing on just this small part of his body. So what do you think, teacher, about my answer for the argument that I've provided you regarding this debate? for me to provide me with more, with another last thought-provoking question to practice more speaking. And teacher, whenever I ask you with a thought to provide me with a thought-provoking question, what I mean is just to keep me on my feet or on my toes and to respond instantly and immediately, because I think that's how natural conversation are held. And tell me their views here the word held correctly. Yeah, teacher, this is really a great question. And teacher, like if I go back into my younger self, here is the advice that I would give it. I would like try, teacher, to focus just on the vital few and neglect the trivial many, and not try to stretch myself thin into numerous opportunities, and just try to not waste my time with people who don't value me at any way, and to not say yes to everything just to please other people, and to not sound awkward, and not care about the judgment or opinion of other people on me if I keep saying no to every request they tell me. I think that is the only advice that I would give to my younger self. And teacher, like the majority of the things that I was doing, I didn't regret any of them. They really helped me to become the person that I'm today. Even though I'm not really successful in a lot of areas, but now, teacher, I'm trying to channel my energy to the vital things, to the most important things that will really have the highest result or the highest contribution in my life. Now, teacher, now we're going to move into another important concept, teacher, that I have got from the book. And teacher, I would like for me to provide me with a synonym for the word concept. To mean an idea or a subject is the word. Please, teacher, I have a question for you. Is the word concept, subject, topic can be? I think all these three words can be used interchangeably or synonymously. Okay, teacher, this next idea that I have got from today's reading session, it is really great, teacher, because it is called trade-off. So, teacher, I'll try to craft a good meaning of the word trade-off before I share with you what I have got from the book regarding this topic. I think, teacher, trade-off is something that we give in order to get another thing. For example, I think the skill now that has the highest trade-off is being an AI engineer because it is the trend. So, what do you think, teacher, about my use of the word trade-off in that context? And tell me that it is used correctly and accurately. Okay, so teacher, trade-off. What I have got, teacher, from this chapter is that the author first they provide us with a reflective question. I don't know, teacher, the reviews here reflective question correctly that enable us to go back into it to go back in days. So, teacher, I have I'm a bit doubtful and uncertain either I have used go back into days on the reflective question correctly. And I'm sorry, teacher, because I toss you with all this question regarding synonyms and correction. And tell me, teacher, the reviews here toss you to mean provide you, lay on you, drop on you correctly. Okay, teacher, here is the question I'm sorry to drop you, teacher. Here is the question that the author had provided at the beginning or the start of the chapter that's going to help us to look back in days, which is that if we go back in days, or like what is the companies that we would invest on them in S&P 500? And you know, teacher, like the majority of people, they will think or they will want to uh, invest on IBM, Intel, because you know these companies they have flourished or improved or evolved dramatically down the road. Tell me sure the reviews here down the road correctly. But the author had mentioned that some, like there had been some analysis that shows that uh, a company, an airplane company, Southwest, it would have been the best investment. And I'll tell you why, teacher, after I correct what I've shared with you, both vocabulary and grammatically. And tell me, teacher, that I have used here this grammatical structure correctly, which is would have been the right investment. Yeah, you have got it right, teacher, that from occasionally the less obvious choice, it is really the choice that yield to the best result. So, teacher, airplane companies, they are known to be like companies who really doesn't provide high profits or high revenue, but this company, teacher, it had really taken another approach that enabled it to become one of the successful airplane companies in the world. And what had really paved the way for this company to achieve this incredible result in terms of profit and of revenue is that they have made some trade-offs and some risky trade-offs, teacher, because they have really went against the tide. And you know, teacher, in business, when we go against the tide and provide to your customers things that are not really similar to your competitors, that is a bit risky because either you're gonna thrive rapidly or you're gonna sink rapidly. So, teacher, what the trade-offs that this company have made is to focus just on the essential thing or the services of an airplane. So, like to decrease their costs and to become appealing, attractive for potential clients. So, what they have done, teacher, is they like instead of confusing their customers with numerous like airplane levels. I don't know, teacher, they have used here airplane levels correct, like business level, coach level, economic level. They have they have provided just one level. And you know, teacher, they even like they don't even provide meals. Can you imagine that? Like, teacher, this is a really weird and odd decision to make. As an airplane company, it is a really risky decision. Provide me, teacher, with a risky decision. Provide me with the synonym for the word risky here. For like what really this company shows, teacher, what we like the lessons that we can extract from this company, like the decision that it had made is that we should not be risk averse. We should really embrace risk and take those or go against the tide. Because you notice this company, it ended up being very successful company. And another thing, teacher, that she had made is that she wasn't providing like a lot of destination as an option. She was really providing point to point destination. So, teacher, at first there is a lot of naysayers or a lot of companies that they were really patronizing the CEO of the company about these decisions, and these companies they weren't aware uh, how this the decision that the CEO had took are really great and beneficial for it. Uh, so, teacher, like. After a while, this company had really thrived and become successful. So there is some companies who have tried to adopt or embody the strategy of this company into their own company. But unfortunately, the author had mentioned a word that had really resonated with me that I will share it with you, teacher, which is that when a company tried to adopt some other strategies from another company, well, keep or keep maintaining or sustaining its own strategies so it doesn't fully get rid or remove or outroot its strategies. It adopts another strategies upon their strategies. And I think it is called straddling, which means to just like stand at one legs and try to maintain a balance, like trying to do two approaches. And I think this company who tried to do that is called Continental or something like that, and it end up really ruining the CEO had made this decision. It ended up really ruining the company, and it ended up being fired. And providing me teacher with the sin of the word end up, and I'm sorry because I have shared with you a prolonged and a lengthy explanation for the concept of trade-offs because like teacher this story of this company had really resonated with me because at first it had been seen as the decision that the CEO had made, it had been seen as weird, not great, not a really thoughtful decision. But afterwards, they end up as the greatest decision that had really enabled the company to really uh, thrive. Also, teacher provide me with a synonym for the word thrive to mean to accomplish a high success. So that is all what I have got from the book, teacher. And after you correct the mistake that I have committed while sharing with you the concept of trade-offs, I would like from you, teacher, to toss on me some thought-provoking or provide me with some thought-provoking question or an opposing debate that will help me to speak and to reflect on that deeply. I'm sorry to drop you, teacher. Please, can you resume from where you have left off? Provide me with the debate. Teacher, like one of the most important things that I have got from an entrepreneur that I had been following for a long time. And teacher, following this entrepreneur had been really valuable and insightful for me. And tell me, teacher, their views here insightful correctly. Because, teacher, working against the tide and taking bold, risky decision, it's really what ensures us that's gonna make incredible things and things that are unheard of and uncommon among other people. Because teacher, if we keep doing what everyone else is doing, it is inevitable and it is clear that we're gonna get the same result. For that reason, teacher, if you would like to accomplish great things in life, we need to take risky decisions that at first it will sound weird or seem weird for other people, but after other people they will be really astonished and amazed by how these things that we have been doing yield to these flourishing, remarkable results. Yeah, teacher, actually, I would like for you to provide me with another thought-provoking question or debate or whatever you want, just to practice speaking, teacher, and to practice vocabulary and expand it. Okay, teacher, this is really a great question, teacher. I think, teacher, a skill that you would like to acquire that will enable me to reach these tremendous results, which is either to be an AI engineer, cloud engineer. But you know, teacher, these things it must be hard to do because the harder it is, the less other people they will be capable to acquire it. And you know, teacher, this is my philosophy in life. We need to do hard things that's going to be very hard for mainstream normal people to do. That will guarantee to me or ensure me that I will acquire a job easily because there isn't a lot of other people who are like really proficient or seasoned at the skill that I have. Yeah, you know, teacher, actually, I would like for me to tell me what do you think about how I have reflected or pondered or contemplated what I have read today through this discussion that I had with you. It was a very prolonged discussion because the things that I've extracted today from the book are very valuable and insightful, and they're really worth the time that we have set apart for them. And tell me, teacher, the reviews here set apart to mean allocate or deduce it for these things that I have extracted. Hence, it was really a thoughtful and insightful conversation with my teacher. We have dived into numerous things that I've extracted from the book. I hope, my friends, that you're going to get some value from this conversation. Like we have dived into trade offs and how to discern numerous opportunities that we're going to be exposed to throughout our career and our life, and how and why vital it is or crucial to say no for these opportunities to focus on the other ones that are much more vital to us. So, my friends, see you in the second chunk of this or the second part of this English session. Okay, my friends, now we're gonna move into the second part of our English session that will consist of reviewing some Anki flashcards. I will ask my teacher to generate a picture for me that I will need to describe using English that enable me, my friends, to build some vocabulary or this descriptive vocabulary. And you know, my friends, if we have got some spare time at the end, not some spare time, I think I should have said some time remain at the end of the session. We will set it apart or devote it for reviewing or tackling some grammar exercise and lessons. So my friends, now we're gonna move into reviewing some Anki flashcard, and as usual, my friends, the strategies that I follow whenever I review these words is to provide my teacher with their meaning, synonyms, antonyms, try to incorporate them into some sentences, and by that, my friend, I ask my teacher to provide me with an opposing debate or a real life scenario in where he gonna prompt me to use the word that I'm reviewing naturally. So that, my friend, had really been useful for me, my friend, because it really enabled me to retain words much more better and to lock them into my memory. So let's do that, my friends. I'm going to start a conversation with my teacher, and to do that, my friends, I really have to remove the image because as I told you, my tablet, it can handle all this weight of recording the image, the screen, and the mic at unison or simultaneously. So let's start, my friend, this conversation. Okay, so now, teacher, let's move into reviewing some Anki flashcard. We're gonna start, teacher, by the first word, which is entitlement. You know, teacher, I think that entitlement, it has numerous meaning. It depends on the context where it is embedded. The first meaning, teacher, of the word entitlement is when we provide to a person with compliments or something like that. And some nuances of the word entitlement is when a person want or seek compliments and appreciation for work he doesn't do. For example, teacher, I can say that in some companies there is some employees who ask or request promotion or entitlements while they remain lazy all throughout the day. They don't tackle anything. So what do you think, teacher, about my use of the word entitlement? And as usual, teacher, after you correct my use of it, I would like to engage in a back and forth conversation, me and you, while providing us with some, while assigning to me a character. Yeah, that really sounds great, teacher. But please, can you provide me, teacher, with this real life scenario so I can have a good handle of it? And tell my teacher their views here have a good handle of it to mean have a good grasp of it. Okay, so teacher, here is what I will tell to this employee. So teacher, just to make sure that I have understood clearly the real life scenario that you have provided to me is that you're gonna play the role of an employee who want entitlement and play the role of a manager who gonna express or display to this employee that he doesn't deserve entitlement because he has never worked on anything that require this entitlement or promotion. Okay, so here is what I will tell this person kindly without really, without impacting him badly or stigmatizing against him. And tell me, teacher, that I view stigmatizing against him correctly. So here's what I will tell him. You know, let's imagine that this employee is called Muhammad. I will tell him that you really still don't deserve a promotion because you haven't really showed any hard working attitude or you haven't solved any problem that it will enable you to get this promotion. But that doesn't mean that if you don't work hard and create projects that will help the company to flourish, uh, you will you will, it is inevitable and sure that you will get promotion if you work hard, and if you show that you really deserve this promotion, because entitlement, it is just about asking for something that you don't deserve. Yeah, teacher, I would like an opposing debate teacher that's gonna encourage me or prompt me to use the word entitlement naturally. Okay, teacher, here is how the argument that I will provide, or the rebel. I don't know, teacher, the reviews here the word rebel to mean the argument that I will use to defend my perspective or opinion. So I will say that the majority of people who ask for entitlement and don't deserve it, they have a really low work esteem, and I think they should work much more hard to deserve this entitlement, because teacher. I firmly believe that if you get entitlement for something that you haven't worked hard for it, you will not appreciate this compliment or this promotion that you're gonna get. While if you have been working hard for something, you're gonna really appreciate and embrace and enjoy the entitlement that you're gonna get, because you really deserve it, and it will be like a reward for your dedication and for your sweat. So what do you think, teacher, and correct what I have shared with you? Okay, so now, teacher, I'm going to read the sentences, the antonyms and synonyms in the Anki flashcard, and they'll get back to you. I'll get back to you with a new word. Provide me, teacher, with the synonym, I'll get back to you. So, my friends, I have just finished reviewing the word entitlement with my teacher through some real life scenarios and thought provoking question and debate. My friends, you can apply the same idea, the same strategy to review Anki flashcard, because you should not just review them passively by reading sentences, because the majority of people, like, what really causes them to struggle to express themselves naturally is that they are just listening or reading things passively, and then when they are exposed to the opportunity to practice speaking, they feel stuck or they stutter and they feel hesitated, because all these things that they have been consumed, they are just passive in their memory and it is not active. So my friends, now we'll provide you with we're gonna go through some sentences or some sentences, synonyms, antonyms of the word entitlement, along with a visual image that illustrate the word. So let's do that, my friends. Here is the word we have: word entitlement, how it is pronounced, syllables, register, neutral to slightly formal. Meaning the belief or right that one deserves certain privileges or benefits. Can sound negative when referring to someone expecting something without earning it. So, my friends, like the real life or the debate that I had played with my teacher is that of a person, like persons who want to get or earn entitlement without deserving it. Synonyms, my friend: right, privilege, claim, prerogative, allowance. Antonyms: obligation, duty, humility. Collocations: sense of entitlement, legal entitlement, entitlement program, feel entitled. Okay, my friends, some common mistakes that people make when using the word entitlement. He feels entitled. Using it only negatively, it can also mean legal right. Let's move, my friends, to the memory hook. Imagine someone sitting on a throne shouting, "I deserve this." That is entitlement. She showed a strong sense of entitlement after getting promoted. Employees having entitlement to paid leave under the law. So, my friend, there is some word remained here in the program in this Anki flashcard that you can read. Let's move, my friend, now into another word, which is hitch. So now, my friends, I will practice the word hitch with my teacher through another real life scenario. Okay, now teacher, let's move into another word, which is hitch. Teacher, I still don't have a good grasp of the word hitch. I think it means uh, hitch. It means a small or a slight or a minor mistake in a program or in something. And teacher, I think hitching it means when the chick emerges from an egg or a bird emerges from an egg. So I will try, teacher, to craft some sentences using this two word. Firstly, here is how I would use the word hitch to mean when the chick emerges out from an egg. I would say that in order for the chick to emerge out or to break out from the egg, he need the chicken. It needs to maintain a good temperature of this egg for a long period of time in order for this chick to emerge or break out from the the egg. And now, teacher, we're gonna move into another sentence to use the word hitch in terms of like a small mistake or small bug. For example, teacher, I can say that the program it gets botched through a small hitch that is required from the developers to wade through the code to spot the bug or the problem that is causing the program to crash. So what do you think, teacher, about my use of the word hitch in these two real life into these two sentences? And then, teacher, we can move into an opposing debate or back and forth conversation that's going to strengthen our understanding of this word. No, no, teacher, I would like to clarify something. There is a misunderstanding. Teacher, I have like mixed between the word hitch and the word hatch. So, teacher, I'm sorry. I think that the hatch, which means to emerge a out from an egg wall, hitch, it means a slight mistake in the code or in program or something like that. Okay, teacher, let's move into a back and forth scenario. Assign to me a character. Let's simulate a real life conversation like between me and you, and where you're gonna encourage me or prompt me at some point in the conversation to wave in the word naturally. And tell me, teacher, the reviews here waving correctly. Yeah, this project it was really a great one because it enabled me to hone my skills, my problem solving skills, because I have really faced a lot of hitches down like while creating this program that enabled me to really like embrace these bugs, and like these hitches enable me to build this patience of wading through the program numerous times to spot and identify these hitches and to solve them. Because I think the most frustrating and annoying thing that drove people nuts is when they face these hitches and they don't find exactly what is causing them. Yeah, teacher, I would like to move into an opposing debate or game or something that will vary our like vary the way we practice words. So teacher, we and I remember the strategy that we have used back in the days, which is you provide me with a story and I need to complete the story using the word Hitch and adding some plots to the story. And tell me, teacher, that I've used her plots correctly. Teacher, please, I would like for me to repeat this story because I was really annoyed and I was lost in thought. I apologize, teacher, because I should have been listening to you attentively and tell me, teacher, the reviews here should have been correctly. Yeah, this is really great and enjoyable strategy to practice word teacher. So I'm going to rely from on it from now go to also practice word. So I'll add it into my toolbox or into my arsenal of strategies that I use to practice word. So teacher, you have told me that as a tech startups, he has just finished creating or crafting a good program, and unfortunately or regrettably, just the day before the demo, they have realized that there is a hitch. So they have urgently or frantically called all the programmers to come into the company so they can identify very quickly this hitch that is causing the program because they have already released it or revealed on platforms that they will show the demo to their followers. So they are required to solve this problem as soon as possible so they can fill their promises to their followers. So what do you think, teacher, about how I have waving the word hitch here in that scenario, in this story? So my friends, unfortunately I hit the daily limit of advanced voice because I only have the plus version. Like if you want limitless access to the advanced voice, you're required to pay for the advanced uh, I think it is called premium version, but I think my friends that the premium version, like all the features that it provide, I'm still not required to use them. But my friend, as soon as I realize that I need these features, I will purchase it without hesitation because it can really worth its price because it provides much more accurate answer for very complicated and questions. So my friends, now I will start another conversation with my teacher with the 4.0 like voice. So let's do that. Okay, teacher, now let's jump into another. Teacher, I would like for me to know that this idea of providing me, or the strategy of providing me with a story that I need to complete using the word that I'm reviewing had really resonated with me, and I found it highly valuable for practicing word because, as you might have realized, teacher, that I haven't only used the word, but I have some more plots to the story because I told you that the CEO have asked the CEO frantically asked or urgently all the programmers who came into the company to solve this hitch. So teacher, I have used here two words I have combined it into this story, which is frantically to mean like urgently or anxiously or drastically. I don't know teacher the views here drastically. So I think this sort this completing a sort is really a great strategy, teacher. So I think now I have a good grasp of the word hitch.
So, my friends, I would like just to mention something that I have overseen or neglect. Not neglect, I forget about it. Is that the word H it has two nuances or two use cases. Firstly, teacher to mean attaching something to another, and also, my friends, to mean a small mistake or a minor connection, as you see here. So, my friends, here we have a person trying to attach a trailer into its track. I don't know, my friends, either I have used here trailer correctly. So he seems to be tightening some screws to ensure that the trailer it is firmly hitched to the car. And my friends, I think it is very hard to drive with this trailer, especially if you are going riding back the car because, and my friends, I think what's make driving this with this trailer is when you are going down an uphill where there is a lot of sharp turns. Like you need to be really a seasoned rider, driver, not rider. I'm sorry, my friend. So I want to just make sure that you have a good understanding of the word hitch, my friends. So here is some sentences. I will read them and go and switch the gear into a new word. So let's do that, my friends. My friends, while going through these sentences, one that had really stood out with me or that I found very interesting because it really uses the word hitch in numerous contexts. Like, firstly, the word hitch here it had been used to convey that he had attached his horse into a post, but the rope slips a small hitch in his plan. And the second use, my friends, of the word hitch here, it mean a slight mistake or a slight, yes, a minor mistake on his plan. So I just wanted to share it with you to differentiate or to discern the numerous use of the word hitch. Okay, my friends, now let's move into another word, which is rebuttal. Teacher, my friends, I have already used the word rebuttal in today's English session to mean a contradictive argument that we provide to defend our own argument. For example, my friends, now I'm going to start a conversation with my teacher to practice this word.
Hello, teacher. Now Okay, teacher, now let's jump into another word, which is rebuttal. I don't notice whether I've pronounced this word correctly to mean to me, teacher, a counter argument that we provide to another person, that we have a debate with him to strengthen or to defend our argument. For example, teacher, when I ask you to provide me with some opposing debate, I try to provide you with a rebuttal uh, uh, to defend my argument. For another sentence, teacher, using the word rebuttal, uh, like seasoned and expert lawyers, they need to provide good rebuttal to defend their clients, to avoid getting jailed or imprisoned. So what do you think, teacher, about my use of the word rebuttal here? And as usual, teacher, I would like to play a real life scenario, to practice this word naturally and speaking practice, and also, teacher, like to have to provide me with the story that I need to complete it with the word rebuttal and add some additional plot or things to the story. Yeah, thank you, teacher, for enhancing my pronunciation. It is not rebuttal, but rebuttal. Yeah, that really sounds great, teacher, but I think firstly you need to provide me with the argument in order to use or provide you with a rebuttal to defend my own argument. Yeah, teacher, this is really a great way to practice the word rebuttal. Okay, teacher, here is how I will defend the argument that really remote work it enhances dramatically the productivity of people. But teacher, sadly, there is some people who really get distracted and interrupted, especially if there is a baby in their workspace. I don't know, teacher, the reviews your workspace correctly, but teacher, I think that working remotely it had been really beneficial for a lot of people because they don't waste their time in the commute because teacher the majority of the time the employees who work in offices or traditionally they waste a tremendous amount of time just in their commute because they might come across a lot of traffic jam, and this is the rebuttal that I will provide to a person who really underestimate the value or the benefit that we can get from working remotely. And teacher, uh, lately I've given I don't know teacher the reviews here lately correctly. I've given a listen to a podcast in where they have mentioned that I found really interesting is that even working remotely uh, it decrease like a carbon footprint for of a person because that is very fair enough and it is very tangible and crystal clear because if a person work from his house that means he will not be required to move into his office and he will not be using his car. So what do you think, teacher, about the rebuttal that I've provided to this person to really shed the light on the importance of remote work? Remote working, yeah, I think this is the right word. So correct, teacher, the rebuttal that I provided to this person, and tell me what do you think about it, and either it will convince him to accept uh, remote work. Thank you very much, teacher. I appreciate the way you helped me to practice this word naturally.
Okay, my friends, here is the flashcard for the word rebuttal that had been generated from my teacher. And my friends, in another video, I can share with you or explain how I generate this flashcard. Because, my friends, you might find it very hard or cumbersome to generate this flashcard. But, my friends, I have been able to create a very simple process to come up with this tidy and great flashcard with images that visually depict or describe the word. And my friends, like seeing an image that describe or depict the word that really contribute to a huge retention of the word. So my friends, I will provide you the description for this image of a person that is providing a rebuttal to an audience to define a claim or something, and he seemed really like angry, and we can say that just through his facial expressions he seemed to be talking very loudly and using his gestures. And you know, my friends, it is he looks very well, he looks well groomed with a great suitcase. So my friends, now after we have finished the word practicing the word rebuttal, let's move into a new one. Okay, so now my friends, let's jump into another word, which is higgledy-piggledy. Yeah, I completely agree with you, my friends, if you find this word very weird. But let's practice it, my friends, with the teacher to explain it further. So, hello, teacher. Let's move into another word, which is higgledy-piggledy. I think, teacher, that the meaning of the word higgledy-piggledy it means something that is messy and not organized. And you know, teacher, the first time I have come across this word or stumble upon this word, it was from a 6 minute English podcast in where a guest on the podcast she mentioned that she don't have or she doesn't mind eating a cake that is higgledy-piggledy as long as it is made from natural ingredients. So what do you think, teacher, about my use of the word higgledy-piggledy? Another sentence using this expression, for example, I think that people who work in a higgledy-piggledy environment or room, they get distracted easily, and their likelihood of being interrupted and not getting into the flow is very high. So now, teacher, I would like from you to correct these two sentences in order I have used the word or the expression higgledy-piggledy. Then we can move into an opposing debate or a story or real life scenario, back and forth conversation, whatever you pick to practice the word higgledy-piggledy. Just take the lead. Yeah, that really sounds great, teacher, to practice the word higgledy-piggledy. So here is, teacher, the rebuttal or the argument that I will provide this person about like it is really much more beneficial and highly valuable to work in a tidy room that is well organized and black or that is deprivated from anything that might distract you in your session. I will tell him that working in a higgledy-piggledy environment, it is very awful and it is really bad for your focus because you might get distracted by some objects that are not placed in their places. And you know, teacher, one day a friend of mine he told me that a university professor or university teacher. You know, teacher, I would like from you to provide me with the difference of professor and the teacher. He told me that he's highly focused, where he is able to get into the flow state. And you know, teacher, if you're not familiar with the word flow state, means like when you really lose track of time and we become very focused, like having a laser-like focus on our task. My friend, he told me something that I found very strange. He told me this university professor is able to thrive and to highly focus or to get into the flow state when he is working in how we can train station. And you know, train station, they are very crowded, and there is a lot of hustling and bustling in this station. Like you know, teacher, I think it is not a subjective. I don't know, teacher, the reviews here is subjective. We should like there is some people who really
are able to focus on these chaotic places and they prefer them, and others who require calm and calm and tidy places, while others they can focus in higgledy-piggledy places. So what do you think, teacher, about what I have shared with you? And I would like from you, teacher, to correct every mistake that I have committed while providing this argument. And tell me, teacher, the word argument and a rebuttal can be used interchangeably. Thank you very much, teacher. I think now that I have a good grasp of the word higgledy-piggledy, and I'm able to use it naturally when it fits in.
My friends, now we have finished practicing the word higgledy-piggledy. All what is left is just to go through some sentences and the picture of the word higgledy-piggledy to strengthen our understanding of it. Okay, my friends, here is the flashcard of the word higgledy-piggledy. I will try to scroll down very slowly so you can be able to read these sentences. Okay, my friends, at the end of the flashcard or at the bottom of the flashcard, we have a picture that describes the word higgledy-piggledy. So I provide you, my friends, with a brief explanation of this word. I can say that this shelf, it is really messy and higgledy-piggledy, and it is not organized because there is some, not everything is placed in its own place because there is some cups, and I found it's very useless to place cups in a shelf. And you know, my friends, I think the owner of this person is messy and ruined. Not ruined, it is just messy and unorganized. And I'm sure that if he attempt to pull a book from the shelf, he will all this shelf or this shelf like books that are scattered there and unorganized, they will fall. So my friends, I hope that I have provided with a clear description for this book. Now, my friends, we're going to move into a grammar lesson. So let's do that because we have really practiced a lot of words so many words this session. Okay, my friends, now let's move into grammar. Okay, my friends, let's move now to tackle or study some grammar because as you know, my friends, grammar it is a backbone or cornerstone for language learners. You know, my friends, back in the days, I used to underestimate the importance of grammar, but I have noticed, my friend, that when I'm speaking, I struggle to talk about numerous times and to craft good sentences with the correct grammar. For that reason, my friends, now I'm compelled or obliged to like enhance my grammar skills. So my friends, the first grammar lesson that we're gonna dive into it, which is present simple. You know, my friends, present simple, it has a high frequency of use in our daily life conversation. For that reason, my friend, or those, it is the first thing that we're gonna tackle. So my friends, I will provide you with some use cases of grammar of present simple before we tackle or work on these exercises. So the first use case, my friend, of present simple, if when we are talking about something that we are currently doing or at the meantime. For example, my friend, I'm currently recording an English session. I'm doing it at the right time in the meantime. Another use case, my friend, of or yeah, another use case of present simple is when we are talking about something that we are doing at the moment, but not currently or at the right time, something that we have started doing and we haven't yet finished it. For example, my friends, I'm reading Essentialism, which is a really great book that helped me to prioritize things and get rid of other things that are useless or purposeless. So, my friends, I'm not doing that right time, but I have started reading this book and I haven't yet finished it. I'm thinking, my friends, about another use case of present simple. Yeah, for example, my friends, I'm learn. For example, we can say that. My friends, I think this is the most important use cases of present simple. If I recall some other use cases while working in this exercise, I will let you know. So my friends, we have reached the end of this English session. See you in a new one. It was really great English session in where we have reflected on what I have got from the book, reviewed some Anki flashcard, used them in sentences and real life scenario and on posing debate. And my friend, at the end we have tackled or worked on some grammar. See you in another session, my friends.